Hi, it's Sandy Wiley here. Today I'm going to talk to you about narcissistic personality disorder. I'm sure you know at least one person in your life or one person you came across that was narcissistic. You think that the narcissistic thinks they're great. They really hate themselves. They're really very insecure people. Believe me, I've known enough of them. But they come across as very confident, and they come across as very charming, and they often love bomb you. Have you heard of that? I just wrote a book, Love Bombed, by my Harvard psychologist. Well, love bombing is the first stage that the narcissist does to encapture you. So they will just shower you with attention, shower you with gifts, time, their praise, their compliments, everything. You're going to feel like you're over the moon. And that's what they want you to feel. They want you to become dependent on them for their own selfish needs. They need something to feed on. They're a parasite. They're like a leech. They need a host to feed on. And you're that host. And they will suck you just like a vacuum cleaner. They will suck everything in the house. They will suck everything out of you. Believe me, I've been there with my psychologist, and he sucked everything out of me. Yep. They will leave you empty and feeling totally depressed, despondent. It's a horrible thing when you're the center of a narcissist. You think it's flattery, you think it's love. It isn't love. It isn't flattery, but that's what they want you to think until you see the other side. Yeah, there's another side of them that will come out, but then you're already hooked by that time. Then it's like too late. It's like a drug, right? Like once you experience a drug and you go, oh wow, this is awesome. You love the high, right? But then after a while, you realize how harmful it is to you. And yeah, a narcissistic person is like that. They're like a drug. They say, they're the best thing. My mother was narcissistic too. Yeah. She said she was the best mother in the world. And everyone believed her. My friends really believed that she was the best mother in the world. Because when they came over, she had an immaculate house. Everything was spotless, okay? She was in the kitchen baking homemade pies and cookies, and always seemed to be very pleasant. But behind closed doors, she was a witch. I'm not going to say the B word because I don't know if they're going to censor me here. Just replace the W with the B. Well, she was both. So I think I got it covered. She was very sadistic and did very, very cruel things to me. But for this outward appearance to everyone else, she seemed like the perfect mother. Like she said, I'm the perfect mother. I don't work like the other mothers do. I stay home and bake and clean and cook meals every night. And, to all outward appearances, she was the bomb. But no one knows what goes on. Like Charlie Rich, that you guys, I'm very old, but your old time people might know behind closed doors. No one knows what goes on behind closed doors. Right? Everything outwardly looks different. It's just like on Facebook. I'm sure you're aware of that everyone posts all those wonderful things. The gal that got the hot dude, and they're going away to Hawaii, and they're taking all these pictures, and like she's got this job, she loves acting, and she's just like living the high life, living the high life. And you don't know. She could be beaten up behind closed doors or belittled, or cheated on. You don't know what's going on. You just can't go by what pictures, are saying. So yeah, narcissistic personality disorder. It's not always easy to spot. But if you got a gut feeling that the guy you're with is charming the panties right off of you a little bit too much, genuine people aren't like that. They don't come across like that. They're not like worshiping you. A genuine person doesn't worship you, and like a narcissist does. They're really not worshiping you. It's all a show. It's all an act. But you feel worshipped in the beginning. That's why it's so hard for women to get away from these men, because they don't understand that the guy worshipped them, adored them, treated them like a queen, called them all the time, text messages, emails, showered them with gifts, all of his time, every moment of his time, just wanted to be, with you, until he's got you hooked. And then once he has you hooked, right? Then the true colors come out. Then less emails, less phone calls, less time. Oh, he's busy now. You're chasing him, right? He's no longer chasing you. Then he starts putting you down and making you feel horrible and dreadful. Calling you names. I mean, you say, what happened? You can't wrap your head around what happened. Like, what did you do? You must have did something, right? Because this guy was like, he was the bomb. I mean, he was it. I mean, he treated you like a queen. That's a narcissistic person. And believe me, you don't want to be on the other end of it. You just don't. They're horrible, horrible, horrible. Once they, trap you, you're the host. They're just like right on you. And then they got to get their narcissistic supply from someone else and then it just goes on and on and on and on. It really is horrible. I mean, the abuse they bestow on you, but not all of them are charmers, okay? Some of them don't even pretend to be otherwise. I have had horrible experiences with psychologists. I had this one psychologist. He was narcissistic because another psychologist I had confirmed that he was narcissistic because he worked in the same office the man owned. So he knew him personally. So he said he was narcissistic. Do you want to know what he said to me? Instead of being charming, like a lot of them are, they love bomb you. This guy didn't do that at all. This guy from the beginning treated me like shit. This guy from the beginning said, you'll never leave me. You're hooked. He said, if I treated my other patients like I treat you, they'd all walk out on me. This is what he said. He said, I can treat you like shit. Can you believe a psychologist saying this to a patient? Now, he didn't come on like the majority of narcissists do with the charm and the love bombing. Okay, then it's really hard because then you've already fallen for it, the facade. But yeah, after he did that, I left. I said that's the end of it. I never went back. And then I took myself down to the licensing board in person and told them exactly everything he said. But unfortunately, they dismissed it. The licensing board don't really want to bother unless you are having sex with them. And that's the only real. I mean, they don't want to bother with the little stuff, even though that's verbal abuse. It really is cruel. It's verbal and mental abuse. But unless it's the big, sex is it all, they don't really want to bother it. The only one they bothered with is the one who was having sex with me. And that is unethical. It's illegal in the state of California. And I think it's illegal in some other states too. Yeah, because they see it as incest because of the power differentiation. The patient is vulnerable and goes into therapy with all their problems. And the psychologist doesn't say one word about themselves. So it's a power imbalance. much like a parent and a child. Now, narcissists often ghost. You've heard of the term ghosting? Ghosting is like when the person makes you think you're out of your mind, even when it's clear that you're not. They will lie right to your face, even when you have proof. Now, get this, when I was dating my psychologist that I took to the board, and I also got a lawyer and went after him that way, and eventually he died. He died in 2017 because he just couldn't handle all the stress that he caused. But he told me he was never married. He was never in a committed relationship before. He just saw himself as like a hermit, a loner. And then one day I did a little snooping. I do my own snooping because I don't never trust completely anyone. Let me give you that advice. You will regret it. I did a little snooping one day in his desk, and guess what I found? An $8,000 diamond receipt. Now, would a guy give a woman an $8,000 diamond for anything? Her birthday? Christmas? Maybe, but what does a diamond mean? She's engaged. We all know it, right? People come and show, oh, look at, I just got engaged, you know? Women don't get diamond rings just for gifts unless they're getting married, right? So I knew then he was engaged. And I showed it to him, and he looked at me and said, I never was engaged. And I said, then what is this? $8,000 diamond receipt. And he kept over and over emphatically denying it. And then I called Dr. Richard Geis because he was seeing us. He's my psychologist, and he also was seeing me and my other psychologist who I was having an affair with. I called him and I told him what happened. And then guess what he did? He gaslit me, he did the same exact thing Jim did, except the way he did it was bizarre. He like turned it around and made it look like I was the one who was lying. I said, what? I'm calling you looking for some emotional support and telling you that he has been lying all along, that he's never been in a committed relationship, married, and I just found an $8,000 receipt. And then Dick Geis has the nerve to say, I'm the one who's lying. I'm the one who's got it wrong. That's gaslighting. They both were making me think I was going crazy. But guess what? I didn't think I was going crazy because I had confidence in myself. And I knew if I see an $8,000 receipt, that the man was engaged. But later on, I found out not only was he engaged, he was married. He got married. He died with a lie. Yeah, everyone thinks he's the saint. No one knows. That's what happens. Narcissists fool people. Every one of my friends thought my mother was great. They had no idea she was sadistic. She was sadistic. She used to break my toys, throw away my toys. That's how sadistic she was. She was really mentally cruel, physically cruel. She used to beat me. And the name she called me, I cannot say. I mean, I would tell you, but then they would censor me and kick me off YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, so I can't say it. But this is how she fooled everyone. She had this facade. It's like they're two-faced, the narcissists, right? They show one face to the outside world. Wow, isn't she lovely? And then behind closed doors, the evil witch comes out. But no one sees that, right? No one can see the bruises underneath your clothes, can they? Because you're dressed. They can't see the bruises. How would you know if I had bruises underneath my clothes? I'm dressed, right? No one can see the way they play with your mind. Mind games. That's another thing. Mind games. There was a song, Mind Games. It's an old song, too. Yeah. So they mess you up in your mind, or they make you think that things are your fault. It's your fault your father's schizophrenic. You know, why can't you just be a good girl? Why can't you just sit in the corner and smile and be nice, right? So I'll tell you, I've witnessed it all, okay? And my cousin was a sociopath. You know what that is? He had absolutely no feelings whatsoever. You know what he did? He led a Ponzi scheme. Google Stephen Palladino. Palladino. That's my first cousin, Stephen Palladino. He's no longer alive. He had one of the biggest Ponzi schemes out there where he took doctors' life earnings, right? Life savings for their retirement. He took them and he gambled. He lived like a millionaire. He had private jets. He had places in the Bahamas that were his. I mean, on other people's money, not legally. Okay, he was in Cedar Junction for 10 years, but he never made the 10-year term, and he died of cancer. Karma, gotta watch out for it. Comes around and bites you. Yeah, but he was a sociopath. He had no feelings. He didn't care that he was taking all these people's hard-earned money that they worked their whole life for. Okay, these doctors, he said on the stand, one of these doctors, that he worked his whole life for that money. So when he retires, now he had zero. Okay, he had no money at all because Stephen took everything. Gone. Gambled it. He was a gambler. He gambled, and my father was a gambler too, but my father never did anything like that. You know, my father never gambled money. We all he gambled money, but he never took like our life savings. You know, I always had a roof over my house. I always had food and was provided for. But anyway, so that's a little about narcissists, sociopaths, gaslighting for today. Until next time.